Hey, welcome back to another Just 5 Mins. Vibe coding is dead already. Long live context engineering. Okay, jumping on that bandwagon again. What does any of that mean anyway? Vibe coding, for those who do not know, is where you can use something called like Lovable or Replit or all these other services to or just general ChatGPT even to generate code. And you might not even be a coder, but you just keep churning away at correcting the AI to actually generate code. And look, it's fun and there's some practical uses for it. I know there's a massive pushback as well, because of course, if you're releasing stuff into production, you've really got to know what it's doing. I mean, to be honest, I'm feeling it's great. I vibe code, if you want to call it that, like an asteroids game or lunar lander game, and it was good. It was fun. It was just a bit of fun, and to be honest, you can learn quite a bit because there's some stuff. I mean, these were HTML JavaScript based apps, and it was a bit of fun, but there was some interesting things that it did. But and look, I'm not a professor of JavaScript, as somebody once said. Not for me, by the way, but just use that moniker. But I know enough about CSS JavaScript to at least get around, understand what it's doing, all that sort of stuff. But by doing those games, for instance, there was a lot of stuff in there because it was vanilla JavaScript, and it was quite interesting. I thought, well, that I didn't even know you could do that. So, you can use it as a learning tool, but therein is the point is, something like that. Yeah, you could just publish on a website and not worry if it didn't work properly. But if you've got a critical business application, that's probably a little bit different. But that's where context engineering, which I know it's another darn phrase, but there is some more foundational structure to that's actually quite good, and what a lot of people actually in development have been doing with AI, and that is good old requirements ultimately. So most of these sort of like dev sort of AIs, whether it's GitHub Copilot, Claude Code, OpenAI's Codex, Gemini. Gemini, by the way, Google Gemini's got a CLI now as well. Well, obviously, and you can generate code in all the web and apps and all the rest of it. But taking it to for developers like in VS Code or Windsurf or whatever it is, you're basically giving custom instructions, which there's quite a few different options there. That's another one for a video to actually show this, really, because you can give sort of an overarching set of instructions of your specific coding practices, how you want to write tests, how you want to structure the code. So you can do all of that, but then you can actually give the essentially the requirements, the PRD, whatever you want to call it. But then that's where you can be quite specific in the tech stack that you want to use and be very detailed. But therein is the key. Like any of this, if you're going to develop an application, it's getting those details correct, isn't it, in the first place? And the idea is a lot of these AIs, certainly the coding AIs, like I've mentioned, can actually do a much better job because they've got all of that context to go on, and you've got guidelines about which exact features you're building in. So there is a lot of advantages of doing that. But again, even the output of that, you've really got to know what it's actually doing, because we've all tried it. It seems to work, and then you think, hang on a minute, what's it doing there? Why has it done that? All those sorts of things. And to be honest, I'm finding it with a lot of the GitHub Copilot or whatever you're using. It's really brilliant for all those tedious tasks where again, you know enough about JavaScript and CSS, but there's just mundane, boring stuff that, to be honest, everybody's a bit lazy, aren't they? And it's great. It'll go and generate whatever CSS to handle this or this display. And that's great. But again, you've got to critique that and know what it's doing. Be happy that, especially if you're doing this, in a proper application, as it were. So, but there we go. Context engineering is the next new thing. Goodness me. Where is it all going? But that's what I've got this time around. It's almost 5 minutes this time. So have a good one. Have a good day. Have a good week wherever you are. And I will catch you on the next one.